So let's get to what everybody was talking about all week, which is Brie Bella. Brie Bella was the talk of the town coming out of the show on Monday night. It was the Bella twins and Natalya against the Riot Squad. And we had Brie Bella in the ring with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is down on her knees. Brie Bella is hitting her with the S-kicks from her husband, Daniel Bryan. And she's kicking, and she's kicking, and she's kicking, and she's looking over at the other corner, and she's pointing at them, and, oh, this is for you. And she accidentally kicks Liv Morgan flush right in the face. Just kicked her right in the face. Liv is obviously momentarily stunned, momentarily knocked out, falls forward a little bit, gets hit by another kick. Flush. Right in the face. That's 2 kicks to the face. And then she collapses down on the mat. Brie goes for the pin. Liv with a very weak kick out. It's obvious to anybody watching that she's not quite right. And at this point, the referee should... Because I feel like every time somebody does a dive, every time there's some kind of big slam, the referee, almost to the point of annoyance, but you just sort of accept it because what are you going to do? You're going to say that they shouldn't keep the talent safe? I just feel like now they sometimes even go a little overboard with it. You know, back in the day, you'd watch matches, you wouldn't have the referee after every single bump slide down and try to talk to the wrestler to see if they're okay. Now they do it after almost every move. For whatever reason, that didn't really happen here. Or whatever the referee was thinking or saying, he left well enough alone for Brie Bella to grab Liv Morgan and pick her up by her neck and drag her back to her own corner so that she could tag out. Liv had no strength. She had no strength in her legs. She couldn't even stand. She kept falling. That was pretty stupid. Why the referee didn't step in there and stop that, I don't know. That's on him. So there's some blame to go around here on this. I will not put any on Liv Morgan. I see people, it wasn't Brie's fault what happened. It was Liv, or it was 50-50. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So let's not blame the victim in this. She never should have been allowed back into the ring after she tagged out. Liv Morgan did come back in. There was a triple suplex spot that she was a part of. She got suplexed and then finally rolled out of the ring. And finally, I guess the doctor came over and they were tending to her and they realized that this girl may be concussed. As it turned out, she was. She suffered a concussion. I don't know how severe. They didn't put a grade on it. We don't have a whole lot of information other than she did suffer a concussion. WWE did confirm that. And there's no word on when she may be cleared to come back. It could be in a couple of days. It could be a few weeks. It could be a month. Dolph Ziggler went through a whole period once before where he was out for an extended period of time before they finally cleared him and he wasn't suffering from, headaches and symptoms anymore. So concussions are a very weird thing. I mean, it affects people in different ways, and it depends on how bad it is. So we just don't know. Whether she'll be at Super Showdown next weekend, we don't know. Now, it may be a blessing in disguise, frankly, if she doesn't wrestle in that match in Australia, because that means she won't have to risk getting back into the ring with future UFC Women's Champion over here, Brie Bella. So maybe it's better off that she stays on the outside or doesn't fly all the way to Australia at all. But there's been a lot of wrestlers coming out, and not all of them, but the large majority of the ones I saw were basically pushing back against the fans and defending Brie and basically saying, well, shit happens. I think that actually might have even been Bully Ray's exact words. Shit happens. It's wrestling. It's not ballet. All the usual cliches that you hear. I'm not even saying that's wrong, but we got a lot of the same boring cliches we always hear. We had Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open Radio. He says, for anybody who said it's a botched spot or that Brie was at fault, they are 100% incorrect. No one ever goes in there with the intent to injure their opponent. It was nobody's fault. It was a mistimed thing. And I see other wrestlers making the same argument. Taz, I believe, was another one who said, well, she didn't mean to do it. She didn't do it on purpose. There wasn't any malice intended. No shit! Who is saying that there was malice involved? I never saw anybody say that. I didn't have people on my timeline saying, oh, she meant to do that. Like she's a headhunter. Like a pitcher going into a baseball game who knows I'm going to throw at this guy's head. That's not what she was doing. I didn't see one person make the argument that this was done on purpose. So why would you even spit that argument out? What does that even have to do with whose fault or who may or may not be at fault? We're not talking about intent. Intent is not what is being questioned here. One has nothing to do with the other. So that's a false argument that's being peddled by a lot of wrestlers who probably are just tired of having fans chime in because the fans don't know what they're talking about. It's the whole Goldust thing from what happened at the last pay-per-view that we just had. Hell in a Cell. When he chimed in, people were talking about the Becky Lynch angle after she won the championship. And they were saying whatever. I mean, there was one person who said something in response to a Goldust tweet. It wasn't disrespectful at all. And Goldust's tweet was something to the effect of, your opinion means shit. He didn't use those exact words, but that's basically what he was saying. And I've seen a lot of this lately. It's like this little mini war is brewing between wrestlers and fans, and I'm not sure where this is coming from, but it's noticeable. Brie Bella debuted 11 years ago. In 2007, she has been in the ring, off and on, for 11 years. She's considered to be a veteran now. When they came back and they promoted the Bella's return a few weeks ago on Raw, remember all the commercials? Shawn Michaels was going to be on the show? 2 legendary returns. Shawn Michaels and the Bella Twins. They're legends in this company. They are ring veterans. Now, maybe I'm just spoiled by all the really good female talent that we've been exposed to of late, right? I mean, I look at the Mae Young Classic as one example. I look at somebody like a Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez, she's a ring veteran, 18 years in the business. Io Shirai, maybe the best female wrestler on the planet right now, 11 years experience. She debuted the same year that Brie Bella did. Nicole Matthews, 12 years of experience. Mia Yim, 9 years of experience. Toni Storm, 9 years of experience. That's less than Brie, by the way. If any of them were in there and they did some of the things that Brie Bella has done, they would not be offered a contract. Or if they were, it would be a while before we saw any of them on television. They would be down there in Florida for months and months and months before we even see them on TV. This woman has been at this now for 11 years. This sort of thing should not be happening between and the whole thing with the dives. A couple of weeks ago, people keep saying, oh, she botched 2 dives. That's not true either. And I talked about that at the time. There was one dive that was not her fault. That was a Sarah Logan thing. That was a mistimed thing. So I wish people would stop saying she botched 2 dives because one of them was not her fault. The other one was. The other one was just, I don't know what the hell was going on there. And that was more a danger to herself than the other people that she was in the ring with or diving out onto. Yeah, but she has said, well, I had a child, and so when I dove, I have more weight on my body than I did back then, and so I didn't realize it, and I'm going to have to adjust. And that's a perfectly fine. If that's the case, unless she's making excuses here, if that's the case, then that's understandable. And that's not something any of the men on the roster can vouch for, because to my knowledge, none of the men on the roster have had a kid. So, fine. If that's the case, then you know what? Between that and what happened here, I mean, I don't know what the excuse was here. They have this wonderful place down in Winter Park. It's called the Performance Center. They have 7 different rings down there for you to dive out of. And plenty of crash pads. Maybe it's time you go down there, you work off some of that ring rust. I heard that, it's ring rust. Maybe go work off some of that ring rust before you get back into the ring. If you're posing a danger to yourself, or you're posing a danger to other people, maybe that's not such a bad idea. Just food for thought. But I watched that, and it's bad enough to kick somebody hard in the face once. How you do that twice? How after you connect with that first kick, and you feel your leg, your shin slamming into this person's face, how that doesn't tell you, oh, maybe I should stop and not throw another kick, is something I'm still a week later almost trying to figure out. That's the thing I don't get. One kick is an accident. How you kick the person 2 times in the face like that, not realize what you did the first time. If that isn't her fault, if that isn't reckless, then I would love for you to tell me what is. So, it's one of those things where accidents happen, and I'm sure she feels bad about what happened. A lot of people she rubbed the wrong way when she put a tweet up right after basically saying, the accidents happen in the ring. And it's true. Accidents do happen. But what really just pissed me off were these wrestlers and people coming out making the well, there was no malice intended. It was like, where is that argument even coming from? Who are you rebutting with that argument? Because what the hell does that have to do with people being upset at Brie Bella that she kicked this woman not once but twice in the face? And, and I said once is an accident, twice is being reckless. Oh, it's Liv Morgan's fault. She didn't take the move right. She was leaning forward. Yeah, she was leaning forward because she was fucking unconscious. I don't understand what's so hard to figure out about this. No, but the fans need to shut up. There was no malice involved. Give me a fucking break. Who is making that argument? It is a false argument. It is a bullshit argument. Nobody is saying that. So stop using it as an excuse.